Okay, this is from a week ago, so I apologize, but today what I wanted to do was talk about one of the best players in the NHL last season, and the idea that he could potentially be on his way to Detroit. Without further ado, let's head over to San Jose and talk about a guy who really resurged this previous season in a way that nobody really expected. 33-year-old Erik Karlsson, a guy who, for the majority of the mid to late 2010s, was the best defenseman on the planet. This guy, not only was he a productive beast, but just the agility, the puck movement, how he was able to headman the puck up ice, this guy was unmatched when it came to talent and magnitude of greatness in the NHL. He was a point-per-game guy, he was such a strong defender, and it was a few good years in Ottawa where we all said, hey, this guy is one of the best defensemen of our generation. He is so gosh darn good. Unfortunately, as injuries slowed him down towards the middle to late parts of the decade, he ended up going to San Jose, he got a contract, it was a really big one, $11.5 million a year till the end of 2027, with a full no-move clause intact. 2027 is 4 years away, so the guy's going to be 37 when this deal expires, and 11.5 certainly is not a small amount to give. And so, when Erik Karlsson went out there and had 35 points in 50 games last year, a lot of us said, okay, this is sort of where he's at now. Like, he's playing on a team with Brent Burns, they're sharing the load, it's not really beneficial for both of them, and Karlsson is a shade of what he once was, right? But all that changed when this season came and went. Because in 82 games played, Erik Karlsson put up 25 goals, which was a career high, and then he also put up 76 assists. This is more assists in the season than Erik Karlsson has had points in all but 2 of his prior NHL years. He had 101 points in 82 games played. He was the first defenseman to hit 100 points in 30 gosh darn years. And the San Jose Sharks want to get younger. This is where we go over to an article on Detroit Hockey Now written by Kevin Allen from last week. Here's the daily update. Mintyukov snubs teams, and the Red Wings could be on Karlsson's list? The link is going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read the entire thing, but the Erik Karlsson trade chatter regarding the Red Wings is indeed a part of it, and there is a small subsection in the middle of the piece that talks about it. This is what was written about a week ago. San Jose Hockey Now's Shang Peng speculates about 10 teams that may have interest in acquiring 33-year-old defenseman Erik Karlsson, and the Wings are on his list. The lure of Karlsson is that he is a difference maker. He registered 101 points last season, and he's a right-shot defender. But Karlsson wants to go to a contender, and the Wings aren't there yet. Karlsson and the Sharks have met, and they agreed it's time to attempt to trade him. The Wings probably do have interest, but there are plenty of obstacles, including the fact that he's making $11.4 million, and the Sharks reportedly want multiple first-round picks. The Sharks will retain some salary, but will they be willing to eat half? Now, this is a pretty bare-bones type of assessment. It says pretty much that the Wings may be one of these teams that are interested in Karlsson and his services, but realistically, it's one of these ideas that if you had told me about this last year, I would have been like, wait, why? Like, the guy is so expensive, he's so old, this doesn't align at all with the Wings' window of opportunity. They're trying to build a timeline where Seider, Raymond, and all these other guys are good at the same time. And when that happens, I mean, Karlsson's gonna be, what, 35? 36? He's gonna need a new contract in 2027? Like, it's going to take time for this to happen. What is the rush? Why would the Wings want to go after a guy who doesn't even produce? But of course, things change when you have a 101-point year. If you're able to show off tremendous value, and if the Sharks are willing to retain salary, maybe even 50%, then all of a sudden, from 11.5 to, what is that, divided by 2? Let's do the math right here, $5.75 million a year. That right there is a pretty good dollar amount for a guy that just got 100 gosh darn points. Sure, he's maybe not going to be in the territory of 100 plus points until the end of the contract. Like, I don't know if he's going to be 36 and putting up 90 points on a year, but just having the reduced dollar amount be a possibility here for a Sharks team that wants to get younger and wants to get multiple draft picks makes it interesting for a Wings team that is on that uprise. They have draft picks, they have prospects, they have young guys, but at what point do you say, all right, let's try to leverage some of these future assets into things that can help us today? A right-handed defenseman that will quarterback the power play 1 unit. He'll get along with Lucas Raymond. They're both Swedish. Berggren's on the team. Edvinsson's going to be on the team. All Swedes. Going to have a nice Swedish connection here in Detroit, just like the olden days. And there's going to be a new generation of offense coming from the blue line, because if Seider can pick up a thing or two from a guy like Erik Karlsson, then that sets up everybody for success, doesn't it? And so, with this idea in mind, the question then becomes, would you do this if you are Stevie Y? The article in question just kind of says, oh, the Red Wings could be on the list of teams that want him. So, if you're Steve Yzerman, firstly, my question is, would you want this guy? Like, would you actually be interested in acquiring Erik Karlsson for the team in the now, while also potentially bolstering up the future? I mean, it depends on his longevity, but the question still remains. Would you be interested in getting Karlsson? And if so, what is the price you want to pay? 2 first-round picks, a bunch of prospects. What is in your territory of tradable, and what is in your territory of untouchable? No trade whatsoever. Of course, I know a lot of Wings fans are going to say, okay, Raymond, Seider, probably Edvinsson, maybe Larkin. You don't want to touch these guys in any sort of a deal. But if you're starting to think about other names, like, okay, let's just toss somebody out there. William Wallinder. He's maybe a guy that if you wanted to talk about, you can start a conversation there and maybe add on some extra things on top of that. Is that what San Jose would be interested in, though? Who really knows? If you're a Sharks fan, let me know in the comments all your opinions about this idea. Erik Karlsson heading over to Detroit and you getting a bunch of stuff in return. I've mentioned this a few times in different videos regarding the Red Wings and trade rumors, but don't make trades with Steve Yzerman. It normally ends out pretty poorly. And so, with this idea in mind, do you want to see Karlsson head over to Detroit? Do you want to see a trade with Motown? Do you want to see your team potentially get the short end of the stick in some sort of an Yzerman deal? The Wings have the spot. They just traded away Hronek. And so, if you replace Hronek with Karlsson, your team technically gets better, and you still have all the stuff that you got in that Hronek trade from Vancouver. And so, that is ultimately the idea I wanted to bring up in this video. Erik Karlsson heading over to the Wings. The article says they might be interested. So, my question is, are you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your opinions on Erik Karlsson? Do you think he's got it in him to continue producing like this? Do you think he's going to get 100 points again? Do you think he's going to do the impossible 2 years in a row after being the first D-man in 30 years to hit the triple-digit mark? Do you think he's going to be able to do this with the Red Wings or with the Sharks or with some other team? What do you think the retained salary is going to have to look like in order to facilitate a Karlsson trade? And what do you think goes to San Jose in return? If it's from the Red Wings, what do you want that to be? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.